Hello everyone, Dan 14th Prime here. Today I want to do a video shot with you guys on the Takara Transformers Masterpiece. This is MP47 Hound. If you're interested in checking out the unboxing and the pack out of this Masterpiece figure, check me out on Instagram, same handle Dan 14th Prime. I always put pics and share things out there first before I can put a video up on YouTube, so be sure to follow me on Instagram. And as always, if you're interested in picking up Hound or any cool collectibles, check the links down in the description below. Any shopping you do through those links at Amazon, Sideshow, or eBay supports the channel, no cost to you, and is very much appreciated. I will say straight off the bat with this Hound Masterpiece figure, Takara the Sheriff is back in town. Just coming off the recent Bumblebee release, it had a few head-scratching features, problems, let's call them. But I see no such issues with this Hound figure in front of us. And overall, I think it's doing what this next-gen Takara Masterpiece figures are promised to do. Awesome bot mode likeness, along with great alt mode likeness for G1 tune accuracy, great paint and color, a nicer pack out with accessories and gimmicks, and outstanding action figure articulation. We get all that back with MP Hound. Let's jump in and take a closer look at this figure. Let's start off here with a bit of comparison, again just to get the sense of scale. Always important, but never perfect in Transformers, but I think they do a nice job here with Hound. You check him out compared to Optimus, Bumblebee, and an Autobot car like Sunstreaker there. I think he fits in and is scaled very well. Next up, let's take a quick comparison of Hound versus his G1 cartoon self. I gotta say, I think Takara did an outstanding job here. I think the color's spot on with the green. They have all the right accents, like these double lines across the waist there, the forearms. I think that beige they're using for the thighs and some of the Jeep accent parts spot on as well. It's got the Autobot logo and the star tagged up there on the chest, and even the subtle details they would have drew in G1, like how this panel line comes in there off the shin, the cut across the thigh, and even some of this foot detailing. It's all represented very well, and of course then they do a little bit more because you always kind of need to versus the G1 tune, but this is super true to form. If anything, maybe these Jeeps they made, these headlights for the Jeep, they made a bit more silver than they did in the cartoon, but it's going to make it work better in alt mode, so I understand the compromise. But definitely an excellent G1 tune likeness. And let me just spin him around for a complete wide-angle view there. You can see he's got a great silhouette. Everything just packs up nice. Not really much there, but backpack. You see a little bit of a steering wheel come down underneath, but, you know, if they're going to put it in there, it's got to fold up somewhere, so that doesn't bother me at all. Back of the figure here, I think is really clean. I mean, all the way the back of the feet to the back of the shins and even the backpack itself with that window fold down. Everything just packs away, I think. Excellent. And I'll show you this side just because the rocket launcher up there, again, I think great use of color. It's got the gray, silverish, whatever you might call it, for the front and back of the rocket, but still the white accent across the tip there on top. So let's jump in close here and take a look at the top half of the figure just to check out the details. I mean, I won't point it all out. I will say I like how they did the grill there. You know, to be tune accurate, they could have maybe just painted some of the off-white stripes in there, but they've really got this layered effect with some black behind the green. Some nice texture in the headlights there. You can see the grid pattern that you'd expect to see on a headlight. Nice clean arms. If we jump in a bit closer on the head sculpt, one of the interesting things with this guy, just for transformation and everything, his head just sort of floats up here. I mean, this is just sort of floating here. I can get the right angle to show you. You can watch it, that doesn't get a little gappy, but they do have a nice mechanism back here with the rocket launcher to click all that together to give it really some nice force down, and you still do get good head articulation they built into that. So I think they made it work. Thought the floating head would be a weird issue, but it's turning out to be okay. And down here, jumping in close, I think the lower body just looks really good. I mean, they've nailed it all with the whole trunk section down into the thighs and at the shins. All the colors great, some nice light molding in there, great paint accents. And the feet on this guy, phenomenal. I think they look great in bot mode, and a lot goes into them in terms of transformation to get them that way. We'll do a close up here, this side profile, and you know, here you can just see a little bit better some of the little extra molding that goes in, mainly for the Jeep, but pulls through and helps add a bit for both modes, really. And even when you look underneath this guy inside of the chest, I mean, it's solid. The way it all transforms and packs together, no gappage or anything. Every cubic centimeter of space is being used in there. And then the profile of the lower legs here, I mean, just great shape, great sculpt, solid, look fantastic. Little paint scuff there for me. I can't remember if it was like that out of the box or if I did that during transformation. I thought the transformation was smooth, no issues, did it with instructions out of the box. But somewhere, somehow, I've got that little paint scratch. Back of the figure here, Get a nice accent on the back of the rocket launcher. There's a lot of accents that you'll see here, which are like the dash and things like that of the alt mode. So that's really cool. A lot of extra detailed paint going on there. Here again, you see the steering wheel sort of tucked away. Not too bad. Maybe if it had a little bit of a telescoping effect, you could have got that up even tighter so it's not sort of floating around down there, but that's a nit. And back of the legs, again, nice and solid, clean, nice panels. The panels give the right accents and lines. You know, the little accent off the side of the foot, that's proper. Get some taillight detailing there on the back of the foot for alt mode. The one thing, you know, Takara could pick up here is there's always going to be screw holes on the back of the Transformers. Fine. For the price, they should probably be starting to fill those, either including fill pieces or doing it themselves in the factory. This helps make a nicer overall finish. So still an opportunity for Takara. And I'll show you this profile here up close, just so you can check out the rocket launcher. It transforms. There's some pieces. I'm looking at it, almost looks maybe not quite straight, but you could always continue to fidget with that. That's just me. So I think that turned out really well, and that's all, you know, integrated into the figure. Okay, next up, let's get into some of the gimmicks of the figure. He does have an integrated visor. Basically, you just sort of flip up the top of his head, and it's in there. It just flips out like that. And I've taken out a faceplate as well while I'm up here. Might as well do 2 for 1. He comes with 2 extra faceplates. So there you have the integrated visor look. This comes right over the entire front of the face. And let me show you here then also the alternate face underneath. And then the third face here, I believe that's the one out of the box. And I'll try to get all 3 of these lined up for you here so you can just take a look. Again, it's just sort of variations of the mouth opening. But I do like the ones more like battle yell face. So that's a cool one. You also get what appears to be here just an extra pair of these folding mirrors that go on the Jeep. Next up here, it comes with this very tiny key. Little accent, little throwback to the G1 cartoon. And he can put the key on his hip because there's an integrated hook right here in the back. And to do that, you just take advantage of his ab crunch and then just flip out the hook. Straight out to the side like that. Just put him back, and now you've got a little hook coming off the side of his back right hip. And you can just grab your key and set that on there. Looks just like that. Next up here, we get a fixed hologram figure. Nothing on this guy moves. He's just fixed in a seating position. I'll bring it back when we're in alt mode so you can see it sitting in the truck. And yet again, Takara giving us these little human figures, another Spike figure. This one seems to be the best of the bunch so far. I mean, he hasn't fallen apart on me, actually. He's a little bit bigger, I think, a little sturdier than like the younger kid types. So he's more like a spark plug, you know, just big enough that the joints hold together, more durable. And I'll bring him back in alt mode as well. He can sit in the Jeep, of course. It also includes this soft top for his alt mode, just basically a cover that would snap on. So again, we'll bring it back when we're in alt mode, but for bot mode, it's got a little handle in here, which he can just grab onto. So if we just grab Hound, you know, he's got the typical peg in the hand there. So there he goes, just trying to get him a bit of a pose, so you can check that out. Basically makes for a big shield. And I'll give you a profile view here if you're interested as well. I do like they gave the light, the blue tinge to the windows. Next up here, it comes with this hologram gun. Very tiny little thing. And then he also comes with this hologram blast effect, if you will, right? Takara's been doing these little effects for us. I don't know, well, that's going to work on my gray background, so that's pretty cool. It's a pretty nice size effect, too. Just a translucent blue cone. But definitely does the job. So there he is with his hologram gun. See the gun itself, kind of tiny. But then a nice big hologram effect coming off. So that's pretty cool. And also with this gun, it has a storage gimmick. You can split it apart here at the tip. And then if you open up Hound's back of the legs here, and then flip these out, you can store these pieces in here. This has got the barrel side. There's like a peg there. So that'll just fit in like that. And over here on this side, this little handle will fold up a little bit. Gives it a little angle like this. tight space in there, but that'll just literally snap and peg into that spot. And then we can fold those up. Look how tight everything is in there. And just cover that back up. Get your little peg right there. There we go, storage gimmick. And I will just say he also comes with a gas tank, a tire, and of course the gun for the back of his Jeep out of the box. And you plug them on the figure and they all integrate. Like the gun's there, the gas tank, the tire, we'll find them, you'll see them. So they're separate out of the box, but once you put them into the figure, you don't need to take them off. It's not parts forming, they themselves transform into the figure. So pretty cool, and I'll point them out when we're in alt mode. And one final gimmick they show in the instructions, though it's not really a great gimmick, but this shoulder rocket, you can spin that around basically like this. And then you can, pose the rocket around. So they have it going like that in instructions. So if you want to kind of tuck that behind the head for some reason, whatever, that's what it shows in the instructions. You can move that and articulate it a bit. Okay, let me take you through articulation here next. Try to be pretty quick. It's good. You can look side to side. His head starts to angle, which is fine, but he can kind of look enough to his side, I think, because he looks down very well. It's just the way the neck is built. That's why you get that movement side to side that makes it go at an angle as well. But I think that's fantastic for that floating head that they did. This rocket launcher, can come like this, can rotate to the side as well. The arms will spin around, will come up like this, has an elbow like that. And you can take advantage of some of that to be like a butterfly, which is pretty darn good, I think. So we'll take that. He also has a swivel up high at the bicep. Also have his swivel here at the forearm. And then the hands here, similar to what they've been doing. It's like kind of got the curved feature into it. He's got a separate thumb that sort of rocks there, index finger, and then the lower three, where you're just really getting the one knuckle there. And then the three come together. And then also here, there's a bit of a hinge back on that palm, and it will spin. Here at the midsection, we're back with some good articulation. We get unobstructed waist twist, and then we get the built-in crunch as well with that right there. Glad to see that back. At the hips, we get this whole integrated hip skirt thing still happening. So the leg will come up. Look at that, nice and high. Doesn't really go back much for us at all. Just a smidge, maybe 10 degrees. Get a really strong knee. Opens up a little bit when you do that, but for a figure this size, what do you expect? Got a thigh swivel up there. The side here as well. And then when you're down here at the foot, nice rock that way. A smidge to the outside. Point the toe, can come up as well. There's a whole kind of hinge mechanism in there. You can sort of make them a bit taller too if you like or need to. So yes, I think the articulation is excellent. It's all there. Very happy to see Takara being able to execute all that in more of this smaller mid-sized type figure. Can understand why Bumblebee is maybe a bit too small, but on this size of figure, they need to be able to do it, and they've done it very, very well. Okay, let's go ahead and transform Hound, and as always, I'll go alt mode to bop mode, as you would straight out of the box. So in step one, it has you just folding back the front mirrors, straightening out the side cannon, and leveling it. Then step two, you're just folding the side cannon back on itself with this kind of double hinging piece. And step three, you give it a rotation. And I'll try to keep this thing on there, though you could just as easily take it off and not be hassled with it. Step four is probably the hardest step for me out of the box, but these seats peg down, so you need to get your finger in there and get them on pegged, which I found fairly difficult. But now that I've done it a couple times, they're a little looser. And to complete step four, once you've done that, then you can then flip up this whole front end section. Step five, you come to the back here and you untab this rear fender section with the wheels on. That lets you split the legs. Step six, you can now rock back these whole seated sections. And step seven, you can pull out these panels, flip them up, and then flip down the hinged panel. So pull it out and then flip down the hinge panel. Okay, let's combine a bit steps 8, 9, and 10 on the wheels. Just go ahead and pull off both sides. They kind of extend on both sides. Fold down this top section here. You're going to rotate this wheel in, and this will fold down on itself. There you go. Like so. And then the back side here folds down like that. Again, other side. You can see the lines of where you can extend the wheel out. You can fold it down on itself, in, and then again down on itself. Then step 11, you can simply close up these panels on both sides. 12, on these leg panels, there's a little corner section to hinge out, just like a little cover panel, fill panel. So hinge that out. And then step 13, you're just bringing that down. Bring that all the way out, my bad. And you'll find a little peg here. There you go. Make sure that panel's all the way nice and straight. Your little hinge panel, and then you bring that down, and it'll tab in right there. So step 14 is a sequence of steps for the foot. If we start here with the wheeled foot and rock back the headrest and then rock back the whole seat. This piece here, just kind of pull it out so it separates a bit, which will then let you flip over this whole panel. And there's a double hinge there, which gives a little bit extra length. Then here on top of the foot, you can just angle this piece down. The transforming wheel, let's pull it apart. Just opens up on one side. And again, we can push that in, and then it's gonna like fold up on itself. Like that. And then we can close the foot back up. Check, check. This piece comes down. And then this little knob piece comes across and just locks all that up nice and tight. So next up is step 15, which is the sequence of steps for the other foot. Similar. So headrest goes back. This guy's going to fall off. Headrest goes back, seat goes back. I want to keep this in there to show you how it can stay integrated. So if we just spin it around and split the foot here, we want this to flip across. Same thing. Clear this seat. We can clear the seat there and then rock down. So we get the top of the foot in the right spot. Going to want to come off, but you can rotate this inside of the foot like that. Then give it a bend up here at this hinge and then a fold down at the green hinge and then spin it so it's going to tuck into the foot. It's going to want to unpeg again. Got to hold it, kind of spin it, and it just folds on the tighter into the foot. Back of the foot here, we have this gas tank panel. Just spin the gas tank horizontal. Let's get that folded into the foot like so. Fold that up. That's going to slide in right there. Lift that up a bit. That'll help us get that across there. This will help us clear this, and we just need to, of course, get our nub there to lock all that in. So a lot packed into that foot. Step 16 here, we want to turn the shins just below the knee in. And on 17, you're then, of course, just rotating the feet in. And then on 18, you're just getting like the ankle height correct. See how that's all tall and goofy looking? So those will just sort of rock back and in to the foot. So just push the foot back, and it sort of just rolls into position. Step 19 here, let's get this up nice and high. And on step 20, we want to pull down the sides of the truck, wheel well sections from being like underneath the hood section. There you go. And then just push it in, kind of back up high, and just rest it against the side of the hood. And then you can kind of rock it up at the same time and slide that up. On 21 through 24, we're just getting the arms out. I mean, we'll get them situated as we get it out to give a special sequence, but it's not critical. Just kind of getting the arms out. But probably the most important thing being that you just want to flip up the green and bring the shoulder back on itself. So these pieces should rotate up. So again, just the green should rotate up, and they peg in up there, up at the shoulder. Step 25, we'll just bring these down and then rotate the seat. And on step 27, they fold down. And 28, just fold up right there, the green hinge. 29, we're swiveling this out. 30 gets the head up. And then with 31, you're just kind of bringing over the whole dashboard section. 32, you're just pushing in these little floorboards that I mentioned. Give those a push down. Next step is the steering wheel. Give that a push down. And on 34, you're now folding these sections in. 35 brings the wheels in. And 36, you can now rock that back together. That's going to slide in between the wheels. 37 back around front. You want to pull this up. There's a gunmetal gray sort of hinge piece of plastic under there, so stretch that out. Because also then on 37, we want to rotate these pieces so they will come together. And there's a little peg for them as well. And then on 37, you want this gray piece to come over, hinge over nice and flat. And this thing should rock back into there. And when you get that right, there's going to be a peg that will come right in here off of this back section. Other side here as well. There we go. Round back here, we can now grab this assembly and rotate it. And then on 40, you're just putting the windshield down. 41, you're kind of putting the head down. 42 is oriented like this, and you're swinging this piece across because you want this to peg in here. Help secure the whole head assembly. 43, then you're just swinging this over. 44, just swinging this back, opening this up. And then 45, you're swinging this down like that. Swing up the back of the rocket like that. And then there's this little accent piece up here like that. So now on 46, which is getting the arms together here. Again, shoulders to his side. A little flare piece outside, but rotate the biceps so you get the elbow in the right spot. Then you're pulling out the hands, and on the bottom, there's like a tiny nub. That's what you have to basically grab onto and slide the hand out. That is the transformation sequence. So here we have Hound in his alt mode, the Willys Jeep CJ-38, classic military style Jeep. And I think they've done a really nice job with this. The colors look great. There's a slight blue tinge to the windshield. Nice detail in the interior, which I showed you a bit already when it was on his back, but we'll jump in and take a closer look. And just the right accents on the Jeep. Of course, he's got the Autobot logo stamped on there and the star. Just see the tail lights pull through. The tires look nice with the tread on them. Then the gas tank and some of these other accessories I had mentioned. Now you see them in alt mode use. So let's pull them down and take a closer look. Just start off here with a look from the profile. Again, I think a great likeness. Rolls no problem. Even very cool here behind the mirror. Maybe if I pull it back a bit. You can see the Jeep stamped on there in the hood. We have the front on view here. And again, this is where some of the liberties they took on the front end to make it a bit more alt mode accurate. The payoff here in this mode, again, the headlights, the grille versus what they could have done. Definitely a better choice here than being overly strict to the cartoon. Just show you this side quickly. You get the steering wheel mount there. And that moves a bit. It needs to for transformation, but it's also handy when you put the little guys in there. And then here on this back end view, and I had mentioned, some of these pieces are off out of the box and you attach them. And they're well integrated into the figure, though sometimes they'll just shake loose when you're trying to transform the figure. Gas tank there, and then this wheel. Kind of separating the back end as I try to pull that off. Transformable wheel. All those come separate in the box. And here, just trying to get you close in on that dash now that you see it all together, the interior, in places where it should be. Let me just get the steering wheel down there. You can see all of the gauges and all the little details they went to the trouble to paint on the dash. That's very cool. And, the whole head piece here, this contraption for the head and shoulder cannon, it comes through and makes a center console. So pretty neat. And then the seats, trying to get the right angle here, but well detailed. Looks like a seat, even got a little headrest, which we had to do for transformation. So all that is really cool. And while I've got him up here, just the underside. Not that it matters, but it's all nice and clean and tucks away. This guy is well engineered. Everything just packs in just perfectly so. And while I have everything off, let me just show you. He does have some storage in his soft top here. So you can put the key right there. The gas tank will peg in here. You can store your 2 extra faces right down here. The separate tire, peg in right here. And then if you have the gun, and I believe we want to just fold this up back on itself, rotate it over like this and crossed, that will peg right there. So you can get all that in the soft top. You know, you could be putting the gun in his shins again. And the only thing you can't keep on the figure is the blast effect and the 2 minifigs, which is fine by me. Pretty cool. A couple other gimmicks in this Jeep mode. You can open up the hood, sort of get like an engine effect in there. Looks like dual carburetor or something, but some detailing in there. So that's pretty cool. And then the window here can fold down if you'd like to go that look with the Jeep as well. And lastly here for the Jeep gimmicks, let's not forget the minifig. So we'll put the hologram in here to drive. And we'll put Spike on this side. And hard to see, but there's actually floorboards that they put in this thing that serve no other purpose than to be details of floorboards. So it's really cool. There's a foot peg on them as well, but good luck trying to get that in there. But if you can, it'll help hold the figure in place. And there's Spike. So there you have that gimmick. They both fit in there very nicely. It looked pretty good. Nice little complement accent to this alt mode. And let's not forget here, we can take the soft top. And if you just kind of fold the gun up so it's not sticking out the side, this is just going to snap over the top. And you just want to slide the window, front windshield behind. Little ridge there. And we get this look with the top. Blue tinted windshields. So that looks pretty good. So there you have it, guys. Takara's Masterpiece MP47 Hound. I like it. I think they did a really nice job with the figure. Works in both modes. Great G1 tune likeness. Slick engineering. A nice pack out of accessories. And they built in the outstanding action figure articulation. So it's on the level that I'm expecting, you know, Takara Masterpiece to hit at, that MP44 sort of set the new standard for. I think this delivers all that. So thanks again for checking out the video. Again, remember, follow me on Instagram, SamHandleDan14Prime. Everything goes up there first and more in terms of what's coming in the collection. Also, again, various links down in the description below for collectible shopping, and any shopping either of those links supports the channel, no cost to you, and I do very much appreciate that. So Hound here is a thumbs up for me. Happy I picked them up. Thanks for checking in on this Transformers Masterpiece video share out, and I will see you next time.